Consider supporting Sonicguru Productions on Patreon for just $1 a month. Link below in the description. Out of respect, this episode of Item Box will not be monetized because not making light of situations like this. Nigel Dobbyn of Sonic the Comic fame and also a veteran artist on Medivac 318 from, I'm not too sure if he worked. Does he work at 2000 AD?
He worked at 2000 AD. In fact, most of the SCT staff came from 2000 AD.
Okay. Has passed away at the age of 56. So he was born in 1963. This kind of hits home a little bit because he's one of he's the artist for Sonic the Comic, that style, as it were.
Yeah.
Nigel Kitchen is the other Nigel who's the writer.
Yeah.
It's Nigel's fault. Which Nigel? That Nigel.
Yeah. The two Nigels, Kitching or Dobbyn. Yeah.
Yeah, Dobbyn was the artist. You see, like, certain design aspects of Sonic's quills. Even Knuckles is like a medallion around his neck rather than just being a crest.
Yeah, I mean, that was the yeah. I mean, Dobbyn for the most part. I mean, I think we could definitely say that for us too. I mean, we grew up reading the comic back in I can't remember, like around about.
I started in '98. I started at the last freaking arc of that, the last official arc.
Yeah, I mean, I started. Go on.
Which is the Chaos arc, I would call it.
Yes, it was the Chaos semi-adventure telling, basically.
Yeah, then it got reprints happened with brand new cover art.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, I started around the back. My first issue was the final part of what was running wild, which was the whole Supersonic as a maniac monster type deal, and went from there.
Yeah, is that his idea or was that Kitchen's idea?
That was Kitchen's idea. I mean, it's worth pointing out is obviously that, like I said before, is that most of the people who worked in the comic, I mean, started off working at 2000 ADs and transferred to this. Dobbyn particularly, I mean, to put it best way, I mean, Dobbyn is like probably the second, is probably known as the next to Elson, because there's Richard Elson who did like majority of the main strip, i.e. he did a lot of the covers and the main big arc stories, whereas Dobbyn did either other stories about what happened to Mobius, but he mainly became, I think, known for doing a lot of Knuckles' strips over the years.
Yeah, the Dr. Zachary and God, what was the name of those things? Those robots.
Yeah, the robots are sort of the guardians of the floating island back when it was known. Yeah, so again, he was responsible for the artwork and stuff. I mean, Kitchen wrote a lot of the stories as well. You know, he developed like the backstory because back then, very much nobody knew anything about the Echidnas. It was just a made-up, forgotten race. And subsequently, throughout those issues,
there's a big difference between the Archie and Fleetway with Knuckles. Is that Knuckles was the only one, not just there were like 36 Admirals. They were all green, like the big race of Echidnas and all that. It's like no. Just one.
Yeah. I mean, in this case, it was, they got wiped out because of an army of the Dracon Empire, which are these sort of, fish and robotic suits, steel, and again, that all sort of tied in with to do with the last endings plot. Again, like what happened.
Even though he actually made, I would call it the Adventures Robotnik.
Oh, yeah. I mean, definitely, yeah.
He made that one menacing. I mean, people will point out, Satiem was menacing. Now, Satiem had a different design. The same base.
He had the same outfit. He had like that weird stripe thing with the circle near his belly, essentially. But the UK comic definitely took the adventure look and then somehow made that actually a monster, essentially a real monster instead of a goof clown.
Yeah, then he got the adventure look on him.
Yeah, towards the end,
which somehow works.
Yeah, it does. I mean, that's
weird.
It is weird that he took something that was designed to be animation's sexiest character, as Milton Knight once said, and then, give it to a different artist and they can make it look like a threatening dictator bastard right in front of you.
Yeah. One of the other characters he designed, I think, was Commander Brutus.
I'm trying to think. I know he was designed. I'm a little bit shaky in terms of who designed what. Again, different artists and different people. But like I said, I do know that Dobbyn did a lot of the Knuckles stuff. So I'm pretty sure he did Dr. Zachary. He designed.
Yeah, I looked it up. Yeah, he designed Commander Brutus, meant to be
Oh,
the robot replacement of Robotnik.
yeah. I mean, he was essentially, yeah. It was essentially imagined, yeah, as you said. Yeah, I mean, Dobbin for a lot of the stories, like I said, it's. I was trying to wrap up when I heard about the news. Obviously, hearing about this, apparently, to get this on track, what I heard of the news is apparently, as I said, he's passed away. He died surprisingly enough of a heart attack, of all things, and
Wow, really?
yeah, apparently this news broke out that he died. I think he died a week before this. I think it was they didn't announce it until this week, but he passed away during the weekend, and it was a heart attack. And as many of his colleagues and friends and family have said, it was just out of the blue. Like no one knows how it came on. It just did. Unfortunately, it's just one of those.
Yeah,
Dude,
kind of like when Rick Mail died. That was just out of the blue.
exactly. Yeah. I mean, hell, Rick. I mean, we already know the whole thing of he fell off his quad bike, and there was the whole thing of his brain, having to operate in his head that it could kill him, and he somehow survived that. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's just out of the blue.
and it was a cardiac arrest that got him.
Hmm. So yeah,
That's another story, but
yeah,
um, we met him. I can't remember if I met him or because I think I did met him when I actually because I was desperate to get the STC Archie collab poster.
yes,
And everyone who attended there fucking got one. But I
yes.
wanted to be nice. I got two posters. I got the collab and I got the Decap Attack one. And he was so happy that someone actually got a Decap Attack one.
That would have been Kitchen. I think would have been happy because that's his favorite thing. Um, Yeah, I mean, I think that was like to put this in context. I mean, me and Dan, I went to all I was there from beginning to end. Dan came with me the second year it was on, and I think
Yeah,
Dobbin
I
was
wait
there.
2009 to 2013. I
Yeah,
wasn't around for the 2016.
yeah, the last one. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, Dobbin was a regular. He did come pretty much all the time to those. He also went to the one-off Sonic the Comic Con, which was in York of all things, and he was there both Kitching and even Richard Elson, who previously didn't go to these things. And again, my memory is a bit all over the place, but I think it was through Dobbing and Kitching said to Elson, I was like, you should come to these events. They're really nice, whatever. I was like, I'm a bit unsure. And, they're just there for me to draw. I was like, no, come along. They'll want to chat to you. And subsequently, when he got to that and then the last summer Sonic, he just loved it. He just loved the atmosphere being with essentially a group of Sonic fans, which you compare to the online world, it's a very different case. But
Yeah, the online, you were saying, the online world of Sonic fandom is so unhinged, you might as well just not admit you're a Sonic fan unless you got that, unless you're that proud of it, like I am. But
exactly.
yeah,
Like I
but
said, there's
but in person, it's like, hey, what's your favorite Sonic game? Unleashed. Oh, my generations. Oh, that's cool. That's it.
yeah. I mean, again, whenever you talk to them, particularly when they ask them, what do you think of the games? Like, a lot of them didn't really do it. I know Kitchen tried to play it a few times just to get the baseline of the story and then just sort of do their own thing half a while. And I think a lot of them they didn't really know much of the games. They just sort of took the basic premise and just ran with it, essentially, just did their own weird, strange recreations or just tangents with them.
Yeah.
And that's how it worked. I mean, obviously, Dobbin, whenever he was there, obviously he would draw many of the different characters, obviously Knuckles quite a lot. I will say this, the one thing that always made it distinct to me, in fact, I was re-looking just a few of his artwork and maybe able to show you in video form, is he did definitely do somebody actually pointed this out. Someone pointed out that a lot of his strips with Knuckles felt very atmospheric. Because the story at this point was that the Master Emerald had been destroyed and he was searching the planet to sort of find the fragments of it. And so he went from the different areas of Mobius and they sort of played in different tropes. One of them was, they went from he fought off, and I'm surprised if this happened, is one that he was in the sea and he fought off a giant robot squid thing controlled by a Captain Crab creature thing. That happened. Another one in which he ends up in a village, which essentially it's imagine an American werewolf in London meets the Wicker Man. That happened, and another one which is the good, the bad, and the ugly. Although in this case, it had I don't know if you showed this image. It had what I can only describe as ostrich, giant ostrich, mutant giant ostrich, penguin creature things running through the desert before getting hijacked by the characters from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and then being tied up to a pterodactyl. And I'm saying this, these are very weird things to do. But looking back at them, I remember as a kid reading and looking at the artwork in that, and you totally bought into that world. That was the strange thing. For as ridiculous as what I've just said to you, the artwork made it believable in the same way Elson stuff was. You have all this high action stuff, but there was a tangibility to it. And I think that was something.
Yeah. Dobbyn had the world, and Elson had the characters.
Maybe I think the other way around for me, but again, I think he did.
Oh, no, aside from the Knuckles arcs, really.
Yeah, because like I said, I mean, there was something very tangible about the way they were colored and stuff. I mean, again, Dobbyn also did a lot of coloring for instance, Elson's work. In fact, there's a few strips he did, and you could tell it was his. The other thing you could tell, and I think I tried to ask them this question many times, but there was always this little like red sort of highlight just in their eyes around the.
Yeah, I don't get that was. Did he do the Generations crossover? I think back in 2013 there was a special Sonic the Comic made exclusively.
I mean there was a special one-off. They did a thing where
past Sonic and Sonic and Johnny meet the present Sonic.
The present Sonic, and it's kind of the idea of Johnny not knowing he died basically, and he was trying to keep that a secret. I think he did. I know one of the artists.
Yeah, because I looked at the eye colorations of that. It's like
there. Yeah, I think
it's like it's red. It's like, are these characters high? It just looks weird to me. Like
I don't know.
It's like back during when I was reading the comic. This is back, like again. I started in 98, 99.
Yeah,
and it kept going until 2004. I think it stopped.
Mm-hmm.
I think a bit earlier.
Yeah, I mean, officially, the story ended in like 2000 with the Chaos arc, and then it carried on until like 2003 with the reprints.
Yeah, because we started a Brutus arc and finished at the Flicky's Island arc.
Yeah, right up to. I think it got up to I think it right up to almost the 100 issue, almost reprinting the 100 issue. Yeah, you're right. It was the Flicky's Island thing. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Because I remember specifically, I know there's certain key moments in my life. It was like when I first saw something comic, it's like I gotta get it, and it was the start of the adventure arc.
Right.
And I missed a lot of reprints. It was like because the store I got it at was closing that day, and like shit.
Back in the days where we were desperate, every week, it was like you save your pocket money up to saying, "I've got to buy the latest issue. Is it there? Is it there? I hope it's there."
No, it isn't. Shit. Next day. No, exactly. It isn't. Shit. Yeah. Next day. New issue's out. Fuck.
Yeah, you miss, and if you're really bad, you end up missing like the entire arc, and so be like 4 issues late, and it's already changed into a different thing.
Yeah, I think I only missed like 3 issues during the reprints.
Right.
So yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I honestly I feel bad. I can't remember meeting him. It might have been Elson, who I can't remember if it was Elson or Dobbyn. I asked them to draw a picture of their version of Tikal. They had no clue who I was talking about. So I drew a picture of Tikal for reference, and they're like, "You're better than I am." I was like, "Thanks for the compliment, but I want your style."
Oh, I think this is like cosmic alignment, because I'm going to tell you this actually. The last time I saw him was at the 25th anniversary for Sonic the Comic that was in Manchester. And he actually did draw Tikal. I've actually got a picture of it there. He actually did draw it for. I'm not sure, because I did ask him, "You ever drawn this character?" But I was like, "No, do you know who she is?" Not really. It's like somebody asked me to do it, and I did it. But yeah, looking at it, it's just amazing, and it just surprises me. I think again, one of the things I love about this is one of the reasons I love about Sonic the Hedgehog for me is that it's always fascinating to give it to different people. For as much as there's this argument of how the series should be, or what format, or is it in canon or not canon, part of the fun for me is seeing different people do their own takes of them. And like I said, both
you still have dickheads out there saying it should be drawn like this, and Sonic characters like that. We'll get to the Sonic Bible another time, because that is just a whole can of worms that is just going to pop in your face.
Yeah, again, I've said this before, like on Twitter, actually. I mean, Kitching apparently looked at this and just went, "That's sod it, I'll just do my own thing." That's how it happened. And again, they got away with it. That's the weird...
Sonic's a dick. It's just a version of him being a dick.
Yeah, exactly.
Compared to the comedic or the what has been dubbed the meta era of Sonic.
Yeah, but like I said, part of the fun of this is you get different people to do their own takes, and sometimes it's depending on characterization, the artwork, or even the world they create for him. That's part of the fun of seeing what they're going to do with it, And again, is it going to be comedic? Is it going to be more serious? Is it going to be sort of in the middle? And again, I would say Sonic the Comic was that in a weird way. It was both serious, But he did have a lot of silly one-off goofy adventures. I mean, there's a lot of ones with Tails where he's facing off weird creatures.
In the multi-zone. There was the other one. There was a short comic at the end of the Chaos arc, and it was like, oh, this guy was kind of a not a good inventor, just reprogrammed one of Robotnik's.
Yeah. There was this is a guy who was trying to take a lot of the old badniks that were called badniks back then, trying to reprogram them, reform them, and somehow by seeing Sonic, they just glitch out and we do go into a murderous rage.
I must give you tea.
Exactly. Yes, that is definitely the scene in my head.
And there's got Doctor Who Series 5 with the Daleks in World War II.
Oh yes.
Would you like some tea?
Yeah.
That was bad but funny.
Yeah. They were in context.
Say what you will about the episode, but the fucking vampire in Venice, that was worse.
Yeah, that was the worst for the reason they're not vampires.
Yeah, I'm looking at the his artwork for Knuckles the Echidna. It's like I still looking at it as like I remember those arcs, and I can't remember if Nigel Kitching wrote them, but Dobbyn definitely made them alive.
Kitchen definitely wrote a lot of them. I think Dobbyn did, like I said, Dobbyn did the artwork. I think Kitchen did most of the writing for that. In fact, I remember asking him once many years ago when he was my tutor at Teesside, and I asked him, when you did this, were certain artists assigned to different strips? And more or less, it was basically who was ever around. It was sort of, nobody was ever allocated to one thing. It was sort of, you were just given the job anyway. It was like, okay, you do this, Elson, you do this dubbing, and I guess you write the story, Kitching. So it kind of went like that. I think as years went by, they got more formatted. As in, well, you write the main strip, you write the one-off strips, and whatever. But yeah, I mean, for me, it's just like I said. I mean, I think it's. On the one hand, I will say, out of all this tragedy, I will say surprises me to no end that so many people have come out and have shown their appreciation for dubbing and have told their stories about reading the comic or meeting him at conventions. In fact,
especially STC Online.
Oh, definitely.
If it wasn't for Dobbyn and Kitchen and Elson, is it Ellison or Elson?
Richard Elson.
Elson. Yeah. There wouldn't be an STC Online, and even then, there wouldn't be a continuation of the Archie comics.
Yeah, I mean, to them, they were just surprised it happened. I mean, that just happened because fans loved the comics. They went on and it was kind of, they said, hey, you okay if we do this? It's like, yeah, okay. I mean, we don't get to do the job anymore, but go off and do the thing. And weirdly enough, Kitchens wrote both an issue and even he's technically wrote the canon endings of the comic as well. But maybe we'll talk about that another time. But yeah, they've been very supportive.
I'm just looking at what work he worked on. Apparently, he did some artwork for a Red Dwarf comic.
Yes, he did. Kitchen did do Red Dwarf stuff as well.
Jesus Christ, looks terrifying.
Yeah, I think he once said to me, I think my writing's better than my artwork, but, to each of his own.
Yeah, it's wow.
Yeah.
Wherever you are, Dobbyn, thank you for great memories and just everything. It gave us a side of Sonic that we never thought we needed.
Mm-hmm. I like to end with this, actually. One of my favorite stories from meeting him was actually from the year we went to the Brighton convention, and because they had them on 2 different floors, so essentially the comic guys were upstairs. And I remember coming there, and someone asked him, because he actually worked on 2000 AD, so we did Judge Dredd and a few other like comics and stuff. And someone asked him to do an image. This will always be with me. Someone asked him to do an image of Knuckles punching Judge Dredd in the jaw, which he looked at him and going like, I'm not sure, but all right, I'll do it, because he's not going to say no, and he paid him. So he drew it, and, I remember coming back, seeing it finished, and I just couldn't believe this image. And it's somewhere on the web somewhere, maybe if anybody can find it. But I remember looking at it, and at the end, he said to me, okay, well, not to me, he said to the guy, he said, all right, never make me do that again. And funny enough, I listened to an interview where he said one of the joys of doing like convention drawings is it's a one-off, so you give them to the thing and you never see it again. But because of social media, you end up so many people either take photos of it or reprinting, so it's like, oh god, they saw it again. But again, I think that's just an amazing little story for me. So if anything, I'll remember Nigel for that. Then also that at the end of the day, someone asked him to put bunny ears on top of his head, and which he says, "Do it because my daughter will hate it." But anyway, thank you, Dobbyn. Thank you for